always start with the bad news. So the bad news is, this is a sold out event. The good news is, you managed to get here, so give yourselves a round of applause. There you go. Now, I'm going to do a presentation for you. For some of you that may not know me, my name is Bella, Networking Guru. I am loud, but I'm not scary. So one question I'm going to ask, we are packed. Can you guys just come a little bit closer and come to the side? My team are going to give you a handout, and I would like you, so come on, come closer, you can line up here, come on, line up like if we're going to a club. Come on, don't be scared, because I want you to hear, I want you to walk away, and there's a seat here, if we can clear this seat. Okay, my team are going to come round and give you a handout, and I want you to look at the back. If you take a pen and pass it along for me, sorry. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, thank you. I want you to think about your favourite song and your favourite food or restaurant, and all will be revealed. Okay? So if you take one and take it along, your favourite song and your favourite food or restaurant. In the meantime, I will ask you to put your business card in here. My intern will also start from the back because I do have a gift for you. So if you put your business card and pass it along, that would be great. Okay, so we can pass it on. Business card. Business cards, I have gifts for everybody. Yep, so if Marlon, I know you have a business card. Yep. My other intern will start from the back. Thank you very much. So if you have a look at the back of your agenda here, sorry, let me just pull yours. What's your favourite song and your favourite food or restaurant? All will be with you. So come on, come a bit closer. I know you can do it. Okay, so come a bit closer. There we go, don't be scared. Yeah. So just a raise of hands, how many here have been to one of my events or heard me speak before? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you haven't before. Okay, great. So I better do a good job, right? Yes. Okay, can we get a bit closer? So you can you hear me at the back? Raise your hand if you can hear me at the back. Another one. Okay. So just think about, what's your favourite song? Everybody's got a favourite food, or everybody's got a favourite restaurant that they like to go to. Yeah? Raise your hand if you don't have an agenda. Okay, I can get one of my team to give you a piece of paper. Raise your hand if you don't have an agenda. Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, and if we can, everybody's put their business card in. Okay, great. So guys, thank you for coming along. My name is Bella, Networking Guru. My brand is Bella Networking. My brand is Bella Rare World, and my business is Bella Networking Guru. So I'm going to take you on a journey, and a journey to share two stories with you. A story about a little girl that had a dream that came true. It took 10 years, but she got there. And also a story about stress to success. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the questions to the end. So if you do have any questions, make some notes and I'll answer all the questions at the end. And I will be around later if you do want to speak to me. You can also pick up my business card at the front. So, where did the story begin? So in about 2008, I started my business called Bella Networking Guru, and it was in the heart of the recession. It was hard going, but I wasn't sure how that was going to come about. But one thing I did learn, that when you're in business, business sort of goes up and down. Sometimes you get good days, sometimes you get bad days. Agree, disagree?
Yes.
Right, okay. Now what I've learned along the way is it's really, really important to celebrate your weaknesses as number one. Now why do I say that? In entrepreneurship, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Forbes, you can go on entrepreneur.com, and they will always share successful stories about business owners, Amazon, that's now $1 billion, the fight between Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, who's going to be the billionaire. So what I like to do is keep it real and talk about the weaknesses, because every time you make a mistake in business, you're going to learn. Every time you go through business with that hashtag stress to success, it might feel a bit rough. Eventually you'll come off, brush your shoulders off, and there will be a lesson learned. Agreed?
Agreed.
But at the time it feels kind of rough, right? Okay, so now how many here do enjoy networking? Raise your hand. Be honest, we're in a safe, comfort environment. Okay, who doesn't enjoy networking? Okay, I get it. So networking can seem a bit laborious sometimes. You go to these networking events, the food might be great, the canapes might be great, then you might get somebody come straight in front of you, here's my business card. I'm sure we've experienced that, right? Okay, and that does put you off with networking. But I like to keep things simple, and you'll hear me talk about the power of 3. So with networking, yes, it can seem time consuming. Sometimes you feel like you're not getting anywhere, you're not growing your business, but one of the #1 results with networking is it's a low cost marketing tool. It is, and I believe, the only #1 tool to create instant relationships. And the third thing is, what we tend to forget, networking is just a conversation. So sometimes when you're getting a bit fearful, nervous, the conversations might dry out. Just think about when you're having a drink with a friend, when you're at that restaurant that you like, or you're down the pub. So that can really bring your confidence. When I work with clients, I tend to work on a one-to-one basis, or I'm booked as a speaker such as this. And it's really important for me to look at what my weaknesses are and what my strengths are. So talking about the power of 3, because I like to keep things simple. My 3 strengths are, I'm a networking trainer. I'm a networking speaker. Second, I host networking events. I love attending networking events. I think since I've been in business, I've actually hosted maybe 59 networking events. Number 3, I enjoy building relationships and bringing people together. Now, when I have my sessions with my mentor, he opened my eyes about money, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And he's here today. I don't want to point him out and embarrass him, but he's got a front row seat. So networking can be the transition of cold delegates into hot, warm clients. Doesn't that sound nice?
Yes.
It's like just put something in the microwave, right? Or you keep it old school and do the porridge on the cooker. But that is the transaction. Now, it's also important to aware that when you do have strengths, in different scenarios, those strengths may alter. So it's very important to know about that. So what are some of my weaknesses? Well, I don't do email very well. So those who are in my inner circle that I talk about, and those that are in my outer circle, my inner circle know how to reach me through WhatsApp. No more than 2 sentences, please. And then maybe I'll get my intern to read the emails for me. So again, it's okay to have weaknesses, because hashtag stress to success. Now, this journey wasn't plain sailing. One of the biggest rewards about my business was when I started in 2008, it was an advantage and a disadvantage. That's why I wanted to start that buzz of this talk today. When I started in 2008, I'll be honest with you, I had no idea I started my business in the recession, because I started my business out of passion. When I was 15 or 16 and I found out about GCSE English, when I found out about GCSE Business Studies, that was it. I loved it. And I would talk about entrepreneurship, and the teachers would look at me crazy because it wasn't as entrepreneurship now. So I'm not going to reveal my age because let's keep it there. So it wasn't as it was then. In colleges, they have an entrepreneur unit, a department. They thought I was crazy. And I got into trouble one day because it was the final GCSE coursework and I got to run my own business. Now, I do love marketing from one of the principles of market research. So they said, go research your idea, think about a marketing campaign and go launch it. I was happy as days. My business, which I'm still tempted to launch today, was a framing business. And I had the slogan, we can make your pictures smile with frames and faces. I'm actually thinking of trademarking it because I've been talking about this and it's live on Facebook. So then it was Friday, and that was the day of the marketing strategy, the advertisement. I got to school super early. I printed out my marketing campaign, I printed out my flyers, and what did I do? Do the advertisement in school. 2 o'clock, I was called to the head teacher's office, and I'm thinking, what have I done? Oh, we're calling you here, Bella, because we've received some complaints about your advertising campaign. So I said, what complaints would that be? And they said, it's all over the school. And as she was talking, I remembered I even had an idea of putting it behind the toilet so you can't see. And she said, well, that's not the way to do things. But I said, hold on a second. You told me that I should do a marketing campaign, and that's what I did. So let's say, I don't know, 10, 25 years later, I was able to do that for real. Now, along the journey, when I started the business in 2008 in the recession, as I mentioned, I didn't realize it was the recession. I just thought, okay, this is part of the dream. You've got to work hard. It's going to be a bit rough around the edges. I'll brush myself off and come up. But for the first 5 years, it was the toughest time in my business. And I think it's really important to share because there are so many people going onto companies' house, registering business and don't know what they're getting themselves into. One of the biggest mistakes I made when I registered my business is I had no website. Because maybe back to the frames and faces, I didn't need the website because it was plastered all around the school and maybe the mentality wasn't there. But afterwards I found out about it. But what I did have was the networking skill. And the other thing was hosting networking events. So I used that as my marketing tool. I used that as brand awareness. And the number one objective I wanted, which still stands today, was branding. I had zero marketing, but I wanted that at the end of the day, the delegates that attend my event and hear me talk will remember my name. Now later on that came to haunt me because I have a little cousin, some of you may have seen, he comes to the events with me and he gets so excited because everybody knows my name and he thinks he's like celebrity or one of these Instagram chicks, I don't know. And then one day we went to the cinema for his half term and we went to the cinema and then he came out and he was a bit miserable. And I said, Jaden, what's the matter with you? He goes, how comes when we were in the cinema, nobody knew you? And I said, oh, it was dark. Don't worry, it was dark. It was dark. So yeah, along the time, it has come to haunt me. That was my number one tool. And the other tool was networking events. Because running a networking event is very powerful. It allows you to present yourself as an expert. The weaknesses can stay in the corner. You can present your business services, your project, or your products on a platform. It allows you to engage, to get feedback on your services. And it's actually something now that's quite commonplace because there's lots of networking events. So that's what I went on to do. Now, when I work with clients, there has been that rise of wanting to host a networking event, but also to strengthen their networking. But I have to turn it around and let the clients and people that I work with understand that networking is not just networking. You cannot just do networking on its own for success. So I sometimes use the analogy as if you're baking macaroni cheese, you can't have the cheese without the macaroni, right? It has to be collective. So it's important to look at what your marketing is about. And when I work with clients, the number one question I start with is, how much money do you want to make? Now, admittedly, it took me a little while to talk about that, because when I was in my bed at that 2008 starting my business, it was all about passion. I understood about profit and advertisement, but the money side wasn't there. And I was very gracious to have that mentor that really aligned me about the money side of business, and that cash is king. And funny enough, it really wasn't until somebody pat him on the back, that would be nice, or give him some tissue, there we go. Building relationships, right? So I remember watching The Apprentice. I was never into it because I couldn't take Lord Sugar's swearing. And then when I watched The Apprentice, the penny dropped that it was all about sales. And I'm now 5 years in my business, and I'm like, holy crap, what have I been doing? But you learn as you go along. Then the next question I ask, because it's the power of 3, what's your passion? No business can survive without passion. It shines on you the moment you walk through the door. It shines on you when you exchange a business card. Many times I've been to a networking event, they may not know who I am, and I ask to exchange, oh, I don't want your business card. Passion shows. Followed by passion is trust. No business transaction can happen without trust. The last thing I have to reiterate, to bring networking as a 360, it needs to be all together, like baking a cake. You need the eggs, you need the sugar, you need the flour, or that cake is not going to rise. Is then also to be aware of what your weaknesses are. How many here are aware or familiar with the model called a SWOT analysis? Okay. A SWOT analysis is very important in every component of your business. You'll be surprised, even the way you answer emails, even the way you are on the telephone. I use WhatsApp, you'd think I'm talking to Her Majesty the Queen. So a SWOT analysis is so important because it has the strengths and the weaknesses. And I haven't met a business yet, and I'm dying to, who has the weaknesses but does not have the resources over here to overcome their strengths. Because it can be found. If you do not possess them, you hide them in. And I remember something I learned at networking, because not all the time it's chasing clients, it's learning information. I remember a business development manager said to me, concentrate on your strengths and hiring your weaknesses. So I want to share 4 steps with you for networking success that everybody can do here. Step number 1, you need a goal. Time is of the essence. When you're on the tube, you're finishing a meeting on the way, write down 3 goals, the power of 3. What do you want to achieve from that networking event? I get people saying to me over and over, networking doesn't work. So I say, what's your measure? How do you know if it doesn't work? It's a bit like dating. I like to keep things simple. As you're going to learn that something else saved my business. I like to keep things simple. It's a bit like dating. Everybody has a type. Some may like it tall, short, blonde, brown, orange, purple. So you know if you do go to the club, theatre, and that person talks to you, you know what you're attracted to, right? It's a bit like the food, as I said. You know what you enjoy. So when you're going to a networking event, do not waste your time. Time is valuable. I say to people, and I make no joke of it, when you're at a networking event, it is no different working behind your Mac computer or Windows or Dell, what you have. You're investing in your business. So think about what you want to achieve. And then you need to continuously look at that and review it as a measure. Are breakfast events great for me? Are evening events great for me? Are lunchtime events great for me? Speed networking. And I'll be honest, another weakness. I wanted to put food on the top because I'm a big foodie. In the early days of the 2008, 2009, when I was networking, I couldn't go to breakfast events. Because when I arrived, they just give me a croissant. How am I supposed to function? A breakfast event at 7 to 8, to me, defines as full English. Hash browns and toast. So you need to know what works for you, and it's okay. If your colleague over here is going to all these networking events 2-3 times a week, that's fine, that's his goal. Concentrate on your own. The next is building your network. Who do you want in your network? I talk about 5 categories. Right now on Instagram and LinkedIn, we have a campaign getting you ready for Brexit. I talk about 5 categories you need in your network. 1, an inspiring contact. I have a few of them dotted around here. A 999 contact in emergency. Business is changing so much. We can't keep up with everything. There's so much IT from Twitter, IG, there's another TikTok. I learned Twitter from going to networking events in Shoreditch. Many of you may know me or don't know, but I'm very particular about my personal brand. I went with a cap and some jeans to find out about Twitter. And from that Twitter, I learned about tweet, retweet, and like after the next few months, I had like 5,000 people following me. Master the art of conversation, number 3. Sorry, I'll just go back to the other 2 because I didn't tell you the other 2 for the 5 categories. Industry experts. Again, you're not expected to know everything. Do you think Warren Buffett, who's the #1 global investor, knows all the information and profit and loss of all the businesses? Somebody's feeding him that information. I know Donald Trump is a taboo, but do you think he got to being a president on his own?
No.
I know for a fact, because my business is in New York. I've been there before the presidency and after. Some of the stories I heard I'm not allowed to tell, but you know, maybe if you take me for something to eat, I might tell you. So you need those industry experts to help you along the way. Number 4, alliances. People that have got your back, that know your goal. And that could be a mentor or coach or somebody that you can just have that telephone call. You know, I was trying to hit my 2 clients this week, it didn't help. Give you advice, it's okay. It's a comfortable environment. So the step 4 is follow up like a pro. Now, I understand it takes a lot of effort going to networking events. I really do understand. I've been there in the beginning. In the beginning, without my website, no joke, I was networking morning, noon and night. Sometimes I used to see the same people during the week. And you come home and you got all of these, can you get the business cards? You come home, you got all of these business cards. And the note I say to you, you need to get your photo on a business card. A lot of people don't realise this is your #1 advertisement. And sometimes people are, oh, I don't want to give you. No, you need to make a budget. This is your marketing. And if your budget goes over next month, go to vista.com, 99p for 100. They will see you to the next event. So when you give this is the first representation about you. This is your personal brand. This is how you want to be remembered. And the other thing that I talk about when hosting an event, because you want to turn the delegates into a client, is you want that coffee follow-up. We are all busy. When you go to a networking event, say maybe 30 people, the tennis back and forth, can you meet this date, this date, this date, this date? You really maybe end up with just 7 people that you have that coffee with. So therefore, you want to make it easy as possible for yourself. So I'll go back to dating, keeping it simple. I'll use a guy as an example. If you're a guy, you've been single for a little while, your friends are there having fun, trying to hit the club or the bar, you're trying to impress a young lady. If you have no money to take her to a date, where is the follow-up? So it's very important when you're networking. So I'm going to share with 3 people. When you're networking, there's something that I use, like there's stickers. You can see it on my YouTube channel. Go to Bella Networking on YouTube, you'll see. But I want to give you these ones because it's a bit more, you know, I'm very like, I want to hold. So as you're networking and you're talking, think about who's hot, who's cold. And you use the hot ones as your first follow-up. Set those coffees up first, then the others. So when you're networking, just put in here a little H, little C. So I'm just going to shake in here to see. I'll get my intern to choose and then you can put it back in. Choose 3. Choose 3 and then choose, yeah. Call the names for me. Yeah, call the names for me.
The first one is Nadi Khan.
Yeah, can we pass that back? Yeah. Next one.
Next one is I may spell it wrong.
Odetta Dillon.
Odetta. Has he gone? Okay, call the next one then.
Alright. This one is MNK Accounting.
MMK Accounting. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Lauren Tapper.
Yeah. One more.
Iron Brazier.
Yeah. Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. So there's another side of the story that I'd love to share with you, because this event was originally for the 15th of May, which was quite close to my heart because it was a celebration event. So I've been thinking about this go to page 34 for me. I've been thinking about this for some time and how to address it, what to do. I've been working with my mentor for over 2 years, decided we need to do this. When are we going to do this? Let's get a strategy. So there's something I'd like to share with you. So I've been running my business for 10 years and it hasn't been plain sailing. There has been that hashtag stress to success. So I have a long-term illness. A long-term illness that requires medication on a daily basis for the rest of my life. It's an illness that is not curable. I have a mental illness called bipolar. Now, we were doing this event for mental health awareness, and I applaud Greg for putting that also in his presentation, so a big thank you. So I now have reached the point in my career and entrepreneurship that I really want to talk about mental health a little bit more. Because when I was having the struggles with my business and mental health, you know, my mentor really had to bring it aware to me that all of us go through trials and tribulations in our life, personal life. And you know, mental health isn't something that is just targeted to people who have mental health illness. It affects all of us in so many different ways. So I've decided to take the stance to really share my illness with the rest of you and people in my network. And I've even gone to the means of creating a website. So if you do have a chance, I'll tell it to you now, you can have a look. It's BellaRareWorldBipolar.com. BellaRareWorldBipolar.com. And if you go to YouTube, there's a channel there as well, Bella Rare World Bipolar. So I'm on a mission that as business owners and entrepreneurs and SMEs, we really need to start talking about mental health a bit more, and also looking after our mental health, because mental health is not just about physical health, it's about emotional and the health that we can't touch. So what was really important for me is to use a lot of my experiences and also to put that in a program that I can offer to others. Now, when I decided to share my mental illness, I was like, well, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do 1,000%. And I really want to create that brand, create that program so I can help other people. So one of the things I did when I was networking, I didn't have a PR agent, but I managed to get some really, really great PR. I was in a newspaper where I was a columnist for 30 countries. I managed to do that all on my own. So I thought, let me use my networking skills to really communicate and advertise the work I've been doing. So slowly, I went to different events, I went to journalist events, and then I managed to get a 2-page feature in Pride magazine that's on newsdays now. And my interns are going to give out some goodie bags because the article is in here. So on page 34 of Pride magazine, they've interviewed me about my story. So Ren and the ladies will give out the goodie bags. So one of the things that I just really want to communicate is that we all have dreams and goals, and sometimes we can get to that rocky place when it feels like the dreams are too far away. But sometimes when we are getting closer to those goals, that's really when the challenges happen. And I just want to reassure you that those goals are really just round the corner and just a little way away. So I've got 2 takeaways for you this evening. The first takeaway is I'm offering a workshop for everybody, which is all about how to host your own networking event, because it's a low-cost marketing tool. And to date, I had a previous career in events. I bring like 17 years of event marketing. So again, it's not just a pretty face. So, and since launching my business, I've probably done about 59 networking events. There's many here that have come to my events. I've done events from breakfast events with real breakfast, lunch events, speaker events, speed networking, and also lunch events. One of recent that I've done and launched is a billionaires club as well. And also just a regular open networking event. So the offer that I give you today is the deposit is £49, and if you book today, not only do you get that workshop, which is on the 23rd and the 24th of July in Barking, you'll be able to get a one-to-one with me to talk about what are your business strengths, what sort of events do you want to run after that event, and you also get some LinkedIn accountability management from me, because LinkedIn is now one of the most difficult tools to use in business. And LinkedIn is a great way to actually get more customers, see yourself as an expert, and also increase your network when you don't have time to network. And lastly with that, I will talk about what are your 5 categories that I talked about, like getting Brexit ready. Now the second takeaway that I do have, so just to let you know, so today the deposit will be £49 and the course costs £99. The other takeaway is that I've put together an online program and face-to-face that runs about 3 months, and it's an accountability program where we talk about your business stresses. And during this journey, what I have done is I've undertaken a workshop around mental health, so level 3 mental health. So we talk about what are your pains, we look at the power of 3, what 3 goals can really turn around your business, how much money do you want to make, what are your passions, what are your weaknesses. And what I also do is I share with you a lot of the software that I've used over time that have made my business a little bit easier. Because with mental health, my diagnosis what actually happens is I suffer from depression and highs. So what that means is when I have depression, my creativity goes. And funny enough, I'm not as sociable as I seem, so sometimes my workload goes down. So what I've learned to do is use software such as Setmore, Bitly, measuring tools that makes your work faster. So I'd really love to share that with you. Now, my team will be around at the desk to help you make some registrations. And then what I will do is, the reason, Ben, do you want to set up the computer? The reason why I wanted you to write in the back here, what's your favourite song? Anybody want to share their favourite song?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I won't get you to sing it.
Pretty Woman.
There you go. Dating, what did I say? Yeah, take you out for a whole week. Any more?
Yeah.
Unchanged melody.
Lovely.
All night long.
And favourite foods, because I'm a foodie.
Bolognese.
Bolognese, yeah, never can go wrong. There you go. So the reason that I put these for you as well is music does something to us. It can like change your mood in an instant. You know, my anthem, which I need to talk about another time, was my growth to New York. I grew my business to New York with networking and my mental health. So my song is the Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. So that really, really gets me going. So before I close, my team will be at the front if you need help with workshops, and I'll just end if anybody has any questions, and my business cards are at the back here and at the front. Do we have any questions?
Does your sort of method work if you're doing network marketing?
Absolutely, because you have a goal at the end of the day. You want to grow your business to free yourself and financial freedom. So of course, yeah, utilities warehouse. Absolutely. So of networking, I've met many of those in networking events, so I'm familiar with those. Yeah? Do we have another question? Don't be shy.
How you manage your condition? I mean, how these have helped you or not helped you, or, you know, your
Okay.
success?
So I've got to say that networking helps because it brings out my personality. It gives me a bit of energy. And I'll share this with you actually, another weakness. That behind the scenes, I'm quite an introvert person. So at home, I'm very like, don't come and see me. I don't have a TV. I don't want nobody to bother me. So I have about like 3 friends because I can't manage a lot of friends. And if I go out with people, it has to be one-on-one. I can't do a group. So because of that weakness, it allows me to do my job and give me that boost of energy. So I know every time I go to a networking event, I get results and it makes me feel good. So it's a bit like the music. What's the other alternative? Yeah. Any more questions? Don't be shy. Any more?
Anyone else? Question for Bella?
What is the future for you?
Wow, that's a really, really great question. And I know this lady, we've had our follow-up.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Do you
What's the future for me? Well, it needs to be another speaking engagement to really talk about the struggle and achievement to New York. And it's about conquering New York, which I've been able to do. And the next journey for me, which I'm really excited about, and I think it's a strength and a weakness, because I didn't know website over here. The last time I was in New York, I was able to get educated on digital marketing. So you will soon start to see notifications on everything online training, Zoom training, Setmore training from the comfort of your home that you don't need to travel. So all the content that I've had for all these years are going to be available like for downloads and purchase. So I'm really excited about that. To know that I struggled in website and now I'm able to do all these lead pages and use my database. I'm so excited about that. But thank you.
Do you know what it means, your name in Italian?
Yes, and I get that from the guys as well. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I use it in networking.
It's
Thank
beautiful,
you.
Bella.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's have a follow-up then. Yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed my presentation. It has taken me my own confidence to get here, 2 years, but you know, I just want everybody here to just be a bit more open with mental health. Think about your 5 categories, and you need to have that support system your inner circle and outer circle to help grow your business. I'm not going to disappear. I'm going to be around. So if anyone wants information about the courses or any questions, I'll be around. But thanks very much for coming to the event today.
Thank you, Bella. Actually, I do have just a final question. Talking about your experience, because you've been doing networking for quite a while.
Sorry, before you stop, can I just say one other thing to support me? I got a discount from Pride magazine, and they discounted me £1. So if anybody would like to come and support my initiative and purchase a Pride magazine for £2, I would really appreciate that. So yeah.
That's great.
Okay, yeah.
That's nice actually. So just I was wondering if, looking back at your experience, because you've been doing networking for quite some time here in the UK, in the States, you're quite well known. I mean, I know you for a while now. Just wondering, looking back at your experience, is there anything that you would do different? And is there a word of advice that you would give to any startup business? Or what would you say based on your experience?
Okay, so would I do anything different? I have to say no, and I need to explain, because one of the advantages with bipolar is we're very creative people. So when you guys get a chance, just go on the website and say 100 people with bipolar or mental health. You're going to see Van Gogh, you're going to see all these actors. So we have a way of looking at things in a colourful perspective. So one of the advantages that did for me is I was very calculated and goal orientated on what I wanted to do. So for example, I always wanted to be that businesswoman, that boss lady before those hashtags, entrepreneurs, from a young age. So I never stopped until I got it. So I have to say I would never turn back time. The only thing maybe I would turn back time, because I'm an introvert, but then maybe I wouldn't, maybe have a few more friends. But then the adverse of that is in my network, I know like tens of thousands and bringing people together like this. So, and if there's one word of advice, and this would be another speaking engagement, is get yourself a mentor from day one. Because I searched high and low to get the UK marketing leading marketing professional, which is Barnaby Winter, as my mentor. And I do wish that maybe, had I done that earlier, 2008, things would have been a lot better. But get yourself that mentor who can guide you, because running your business can be a lonely place. When you're behind the computer, it's just your thoughts. So you need another person to direct you. And then second to that, have a good relationship with your bank manager. Yeah, definitely.
Always help. Thank you. That's very good then. Please just feel free to hand it back. We still have a little bit left here for you guys.